Every year, another SUV becomes a rolling software prison, sealed engine bays, proprietary scan tools, $1,000 dealer visits just to reset a warning light. Your right to open the hood and fix your own machine is disappearing. But it hasn't disappeared yet. We found 5 SUVs still on American roads that answer to a wrench, not a dealer's laptop. Counting down from number 5, here's where the last holdouts begin. In the 5th place, the 2003 to 2009 Toyota 4Runner stands as a rare survivor from the era before SUVs became locked software appliances. This generation runs a single standalone ECU, no immobilizer pairing, no VIN-bound programming, no dealer laptop required. Whether it's the 4.0-liter V6 or the 4.7-liter V8, the engine control unit can be pulled, rebuilt, and swapped by any independent shop or a determined owner. Sacramento's Mike Bolt Thompson has been fixing these for over 15 years, saving customers $1,200 on ECU rebuilds that just plug in and work, while dealers charge double for the same job. Compression tests on 220,000-mile examples still hit 202 psi, proving the mechanical design holds up long after most modern SUVs would be bricked by a failed module. With over 4,800 salvage units in circulation, parts are never scarce, and the wiring harnesses use standard OBD2 connectors that any cheap scanner can read. No encrypted networks, no forced dealer subscriptions, just real bolts, real tools, and a real shot at keeping your rig running without corporate permission. The 4Runner's straightforward single-module design is the baseline for what repair freedom looks like before the industry slammed the door shut. Number 4. The 2001 to 2005 Toyota RAV4 proves you don't need a hulking truck to escape the dealer's grip. This compact crossover runs a 2.0-liter inline-4 and a 4-speed automatic with a mechanical valve body, no digital handshake, no VIN-locked modules, just bolts and springs. The transmission's valve body can be dropped out with nothing more than a set of sockets, a drain pan, and a Saturday afternoon. There's a YouTube tutorial, thousands of views, where the whole job gets done on a gravel driveway, not a climate-controlled service bay. RAV4 Ron, a Boise mechanic, has done over 300 of these swaps, charging less than a quarter of what a dealer would demand for a software-tied repair. The OEM valve body runs about $120, with aftermarket units dipping to $80. You don't need a scan tool, just a torque wrench and a little patience. One RAV4 posted on a forum hit 215,000 miles and still held 190 psi compression. Try getting that kind of longevity from a touchscreen-ridden crossover built today. Salvage yards are loaded with over 5,500 units, so parts are cheap and everywhere. No hidden software behind that dash, no dealer subscription, just a real machine you can wrench on. For anyone tired of paying for permission to fix their own car, the early RAV4 is a direct shot of mechanical freedom. Number 3. The 2002 to 2006 Honda CR-V stands as a stubborn outlier in a world where every button and bulb seems chained to a dealer's laptop. This generation doesn't just let you pop the hood, it invites you inside, screwdriver in hand. The 2.4-liter K24A1i VTEC engine can be serviced with basic tools, and there's no encrypted handshake waiting to ambush you when you swap out a radio or a sun visor. iFixit's guides show it plainly. A Phillips driver and a 10mm socket are all you need to pull the dash apart, replace a failed head unit, or fix a sagging visor. No dealer code, no subscription, no service mode buried in a touchscreen menu. The OBD2 port follows the open SAE standard, so any off-the-shelf scanner reads the codes and clears them. No $1,000 scan tool, no proprietary handshake. Independent mechanics like CR-V Carl in Denver have made a living keeping these Hondas on the road, charging a fraction of dealer rates for jobs that would lock you out on newer models. Carl's most common customer request? Radio replacement? Done in under an hour, with no trip to the service bay. RepairPal puts the average CRV repair at $950, but aftermarket parts slash that by 40%. Salvage yards average 4,200 units for this generation, so interior modules and engine parts are cheap and everywhere. One 210,000-mile CRV in Carl's shop still clocked 195 psi on a compression test, proof that the mechanicals outlast the electronics by a mile. Honda's 2007 shift to encrypted body modules slammed the door on this kind of DIY freedom. After that, even a parking brake reset demanded a dealer-only scan tool. But for these early 2000s models, you keep the keys, the tools, and the right to fix your own machine. The CRV's modular, accessible design is a last gasp of owner empowerment before corporate lockouts took over. It's not just about saving money, it's about refusing to surrender your SUV to a software prison. Number 2. The 2005 to 2009 Jeep Grand Cherokee is built for owners who refuse to hand over their keys or their wallets to a dealer's computer. This generation stands tall on a body-on-frame platform, packing either a 5.7-liter Hemi V8 or a 3.7-liter V6. Both engines run on a single powertrain control module, with no encryption, no VIN-locked handshake, and no forced trips to the dealer for a software blessing. The mechanical transfer case is a bolt-on affair. No digital actuators, just real gears and a set of wrenches. Sacramento's Mike & Sons Automotive keeps these Jeeps running every week, clearing fault codes with a $50 OBD2 scanner and swapping valve bodies for less than $400 in parts. No dealer laptop in sight. When a 230,000-mile Grand Cherokee rolled in for a teardown, the compression still measured 210 psi, and the valve body rebuild kit cost a fraction of what dealers charge for a lockdown module. The average repair bill lands around $1,800. But with 3,800 salvage units in circulation, parts are everywhere and prices stay low. Owners can replace a fuel pump, fix a transfer case leak, even swap a PCM. No subscriptions, no proprietary scan tools, no waiting for a dealer to authorize the fix. Stellantis slammed the door on this freedom after 2011, locking later Grand Cherokees behind encrypted body modules and dealer-only software. But in these model years, the Grand Cherokee is still a real truck, one that answers to a wrench, not a corporate login. For anyone who wants to keep their SUV out of the software prison, this Jeep is the last American beast that fights back. And finally, in first place, the 2006 to 2010 Ford Explorer stands as the last true owner-controlled SUV left on American roads. This generation refuses to surrender its mechanical soul to dealer laptops and encrypted modules. The parking brake? Purely hydraulic, just a cable, a lever, and a set of rear drums. No electronic actuator, no software reset, no forced trip to the dealer for a calibration you never asked for. When the battery dies, you grab a 10mm socket, swap it out, and get back on the road. No BMS registration, no $2,000 dealer invoice for a 5-minute job, no proprietary scan tool holding your keys hostage. The Explorer's single-engine control module is the definition of plug-and-play. If the ECM fails, you bolt in a replacement and let the truck teach itself on the first drive cycle. No VIN matching, no locked firmware, no Ford IDS laptop required. Explorer Eddie in Ohio has kept over 150 of these running with nothing more than a torque wrench and a generic OBD2 scanner. His shop's average Explorer repair bill lands at $1,100, hundreds less than the dealer, and no subscriptions, no software fees. When a 2009 V8 Explorer rolled in with 210,000 miles, compression still hit 215 pounds per square inch on every cylinder. That's proof the mechanicals outlast the electronics, and the design was built for the long haul. Parts are everywhere. Salvage yards list over 4,500 units for this generation, and aftermarket components run about 30% cheaper than OEM. brake calipers, batteries, and even the ECM are all available off the shelf, and you won't find any hidden software lockouts waiting to ambush your wallet. The post-2011 Explorers slammed the door with a vehicle security module that blocks independent repairs, but this era holds the line. No dealer-only resets, no encrypted networks, just real tools and real bolts. The 2006 to 2010 Explorer is the culmination of everything the right to repair movement fights for. Mechanical parking brakes, straightforward battery swaps, and an ECM you can actually own, not just lease from a corporation. In a world where SUVs are turning into rolling software prisons, this truck is the last escape hatch. It's freedom you can drive, wrench on, and keep alive without begging a dealer for permission. That's what real ownership looks like, and it's almost gone. Across all five, one pattern stands out. True ownership survives where software can't lock you out. These SUVs aren't just vehicles. They're resistance to corporate control. In a world of rolling software prisons, they prove real independence isn't dead yet. Hold on to it while you still can.